Shavua Tov, everybody. I hope everyone had a good weekend. Just to recap what we talked about this past Shabbat, we talked about group identity and the insights of the sociology of religion. And again, this is sort of leading up to the conversation we will be getting to any day now about the concept of the chosen people in Tanakh. But before we talk about that idea of the chosen people, I think it's helpful to kind of scout out as an introductory theme, like what peoplehood means and how contemporary thought about peoplehood may be different from how it existed in the time of the Tanakh. So the individual whose work we focused on in terms of the sociology of religion was Emil Durkheim, who lived in the latter part of the 19th century. He was a French Jewish sociologist, and it was sort of interesting that his own personal biography touched upon so many issues about group identity. He was French, but he lived in Lorraine, which was a contested territory between France and Germany at the latter part of the 19th century and the early 20th century. It was the subject of the Franco-Prussian War, as well as one of the triggers for World War I. Durkheim grew up in an Orthodox home and family. His forefathers were all rabbis, and he sort of expected to study in yeshiva to become a rabbi as well. In his youth, his hometown in Lorraine was occupied by Prussian soldiers in the course of the Franco-Prussian War, and he ended up leaving his original path and going to study in French academia, and he was one of the founders of the field of sociology. Later on in life, he married. His wife was, her last name was Dreyfus, and she was a distant relative of Alfred Dreyfus, who was famously later accused of treason, accused of betraying the French forces. And Durkheim himself, later on in his life, was also accused of being pro-German and being a German spy. So even within his life, we see his connections with Jewish identity and sort of the struggle between being a Jew in France and how that related to the tensions between France and Germany over Alsace and Lorraine. The basic premise of Durkheim's work is the thesis that the more complex religions that we're familiar with in our society are just sort of more complicated versions of more fundamental forms of religious life. And he posited that in order to fully understand how religion functions, one should study these elementary forms, and because of that, his book was based on the fundamental forms of religious life. What he suggested is that sort of everything you need to know about religion you could learn by studying Australian Aborigines. And he noted that Australian Aborigine society was divided into clans. Each person was a member of the clan and had some relationship that was sort of like a familial relationship with other clan members, but that the clan members were not necessarily members of the same family. But the clan did share a relationship with a totem, a species with which it was identified. So one clan might be the kangaroo clan, and the other would be the crocodile clan, and the other the snake clan, or whatever it might be. And what he suggested in his analysis of more complex religions is that all of the phenomena that we see associated with religion, whether it's festivals, rituals, even beliefs, are really just manifestations of a sociological drive, a sociological need for humans to form groups and to have institutions that strengthen the bonds of the group members and also serve to isolate or protect the group members from people who are outside that group. So what he did is he viewed all of religious ritual as having the objective of maintaining the integrity of the group structure of the group. So he sees all of religious life, all of religious identity is basically revolving around this theme of group identity. And it was interesting. One of the topics that I raised over the course of the presentation yesterday was the idea of tzitzit, because it was the end of the Torah reading yesterday as well. And what I talked about is that within the Torah itself, tzitzit are described as the purpose of tzitzit is described that in order you should remember that God gave you the Torah, that you should look at them and remember God's purpose. But in fact, if you look around the Jewish world today, a lot of people sort of flag their group identity and which subgroup within the Jewish community they belong to by their tzitzit. Do they wear them? Do they wear them at all? Do they not wear them? Do they wear them under their shirt? Do they wear the whole thing over their shirt? Do they wear them under their shirt, but the tzitzit out? Are the tzitzit white? Are the tzitzit long and flowing? Are they blue and white? And each of us knows that there are certain group connotations that are conveyed when you see somebody and you see their tzitzit. There's a certain membership in a group that's being communicated there. So from a Durkheimian perspective, he would say that the idea that's expressed in the Torah that one wears tzitzit in order to remember Jews going out of Egypt is really, not it at all. The real purpose of tzitzit is to provide badges of group identity. So as we move forward into our presentations about the chosen people, we'll think back to these earlier concepts about sociology and the role of religious ritual in communicating and preserving group identity. Everybody have a good week. We'll talk to you this coming Saturday night, hopefully. Take care. Bye-bye.